right, what's up, you dirtbags? I am so excited to be here today. We have a huge episode coming up for you guys. Just got done wrapping up this episode with Benjamin Holmgren, the man himself. He's been on the dirtbags before. You guys have definitely heard him. You probably follow him on LinkedIn, one of the best LinkedIn follows out there. Instagram, go give him a shout at Benjamin Holmgren. Such a great episode. As you guys saw, he just had his ground crew conference or peer group or workshop. It was more of a workshop in Phoenix, Arizona, and unbelievable. It was all on operations. Huge shout out to Zach Estes for leading that. So we got, I think it was 40 or 50 contractors together he got, and just had an unbelievable 2 day mastermind operations workshop. It was unbelievable. So you'll hear more about that on this episode. His website is joingroundcrew.com. Such a great guy. Super excited to dive into it. A quick update for you guys, a massive update. We have a location for our meetup in Las Vegas for ConExpo. I couldn't be more excited to announce that we have officially partnered up with Encon, and they will be hosting our Dirtbags meetup Thursday, 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock at their booth. It is at the festival grounds. If you guys have been there, you know where those are at. If you have not, I'm going to give you the exact booth number right here. It is F39004. Once again, that is the Encon booth in the festival grounds, F39004. They're going to host us. We're going to give away 75 Dirtbags limited edition hats to the first 75 people that come. We're going to have free drinks. We're going to have some beers. We're going to have non-alcoholic beers. We're going to have waters, all the good stuff. We're going to have a good spot for pictures and networking and anything to get everyone together in the same place. So a huge thank you to Encon, Sludgehammer, Elgin, and Charlie Huff for helping us put this on, our amazing sponsors. And we just couldn't be more excited. As a lot of you guys know, we did something similar in 2023. It was our first time at ConExpo, and we just realized like a lot of you guys listening might want to get together, or might not have plans every single minute of every single day, or might want to get. So I think so much at ConExpo is the people you talk to, and that's where the value is. And it is fun to see the equipment and go to the education sessions, but really the networking and the masterminding that helps in getting to know people. So really at the end of the day, that's all we're trying to do is provide a place where all of you guys can go. It's open invite. Any of you guys listening, please come on down. If you want to bring any friends, bring your team, come down, hang out at the Encom booth, 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, Thursday, March 5th. We're going to have our official Dirtbags meetup there. I did make a $250 purchase on something really sweet that I'm going to bring. It is for our Dirtbag of the Year, and I'm so excited to bring that and wield it, and it is going to be awesome. But so excited to see you guys. Please come on down. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a text, 218-234-7345, or shoot our Instagram page a message at Official Dirtbags Podcast. We'd love to put you in. We're creating a big list of people that want to stay in the know, and then we'll just shoot you guys more information as we get closer. So super stoked to see you guys there. And I don't want to take up too much more time. We are going to dive into it here. Episode number 114 with the man, Benjamin Holmgren. Go give him a follow. Give this episode a listen. Let me know if you're coming to ConExpo in Las Vegas in a couple weeks. Let's have a great day. Let's have a great Friday, whatever day it is you're listening. Let's get after it. Brandon, let's cue the music. Let's dive into this incredible episode with Benjamin Holmgren and the ground crew. Let's get after it. Let's cue the music. Here we go. Come on. All right, what's up, you dirtbags? My name is Luke Eggebrotten, and we are back in studio with a mega episode for you today. This is episode number 114. I talked about this on the last one, and I think on the one before it, but we are cranking out episodes. This is week after week. We have increased our frequency instead of our normal 2 a month. You guys have noticed we have gone every week for the last 6 weeks or so. So we're really pushing hard to run some momentum into 2026, give you guys some good educational content, some good entertainment, some information, a little bit of everything, as we want to make sure that this 2026 is the best one yet. So thank you guys for following along. Thank you for shooting me messages, just letting me know who you want to come on the podcast, what topics you've really enjoyed, shooting me questions that you want me to ask our guests, and all the above. And of course, for any of you that listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or wherever you listen to this podcast, if you could just do us a huge favor, hit the like button, subscribe, leave us a review on whichever platform you're on, because that truly does help us a ton. Trying to break 100 reviews on Spotify, and then of course YouTube and Apple Podcasts. So super excited to dive into this one. As you guys heard in my overview right before this, we have the man back in studio for his second time. Back in April 26, 2024, this man joined us for an incredible episode, joined Luke Payne and I, and we had to bring him back on for you guys because a lot has changed and transpired through these last almost 2 years. And you guys already know him really well, but I'm super excited to welcome into the studio, Mr. Benjamin Holmgren. What's up, dude?
What's up, Luke? Thanks for
Got
having
the
me.
Absolutely, man. Got the old Waterloo cherry
Waterloo.
limeade. So don't tell my LaCroix rep, but we're gonna change it up a little bit here.
I'll talk to my Spindrift folks right after this.
Dude, Spindrifts are where it's at. We had those over Christmas, and the was it the blood orange ones and the passion fruit? Those are next level.
Dude, they slap. Make you want to slap your grandma.
Yeah, oh, there you go. Yeah, don't do that, folks. That wasn't advice. Man, Ben, it's so great to have you back on the show. Like I mentioned, there's so much that has happened since the last time we recorded.
Mhm.
We spoke together at MSTA in Michigan on stage. We had ground crew in Tampa, the cash flow workshop with the man, Scott Pieper, and the whole crew there. And then next week, at the time of this coming out, in February here, you guys will be in Phoenix. I'll be there with you guys. We'll have a whole crew there diving into the leader's playbook for operational excellence. So, all
Yeah.
that being said, man, there's a lot to dive into here and even more under the surface. But let's start with a couple updates here. So, last time you were on, I think we talked about Kestaa and the company name and where that came from. But if you could unpack for our audience a little bit more the relationship between that and the ground crew, and then we can dive in from there.
You bet. And let me just say, Luke, too, I really appreciate the invite back on. And I got some good feedback out of the last time we got together. And it just meant a lot. It was awesome. I was grateful to hear it. So excited to visit with you, obviously, and hopefully this can help some other people along the way as we go through this conversation. To
Absolutely.
to
Absolutely.
clarify, so Kestaa is the LLC that I have registered. We talked about Kestaa being meaning long term in Finnish, the Finnish language. So that's kind of the undertone of what I do. What I'm trying to do is build businesses for the long term, help, the products I create and the things that I do. The whole aim is help people be around for a long time.
Hmm.
The ground crew is sort of like a product of Kestaa.
Hmm.
So the ground crew is the peer groups and the workshops that I run for civil contractors within within my peer groups. I have a bunch of different groups that I run. I have a bunch of contractors in these groups. I have people that come to these workshops. That's kind of the ground crew. The reason, so there's kind of two different answers to your question, or just to kind of clarify. Kestaa is the company, ground crew is kind of the product.
Hmm.
Um, I've wondered if I should have just named the company ground crew in the first place, but it's kind of like too late now. So it's kind of like whatever, we're just gonna keep rolling.
Yeah.
And I don't know what'll happen with Kestaa, but I like the idea of having like a holding company or like a brand that is kind of over everything that I'm doing. And whether it's peer groups and workshops or it is some other service offering, I have ideas for what might happen 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. I just have no way of knowing if they're actually going to come to fruition. And so
Right.
we're gonna see what happens.
Heck yeah, dude. And then remind me, was it May of 2024? So right before our episode we recorded together, was that the first ground crew?
The very first one, almost 2 years ago,
Okay,
as of
gotcha.
this recording. Yeah, first meeting, and now eight peer groups. Everyone has 7 to 9 contractors apiece. Guys that don't compete with each other, that we get together twice a year in person, and we meet
Mm.
once a month on calls to talk about issues and accountability so that they're following through on what they said they were going to do.
How do you, so I love that method. And I feel like everyone always has that idea of like, oh, it'd be great to get people together every month. We'll have a peer group. How do you keep accountability? Because like, what if half the people aren't showing up in the peer group each month? How do you keep that participation and accountability? Because if there's only two people that show up, it must get pretty difficult as you keep going. So how do you inspire that accountability?
So there's a couple things, and I'll say this as someone who's I've had to figure that question out. I've been working on how do I answer that. One, I'm not like, if anybody knows me, I'm not a just like on the nose going to come at you and tear you to
Mhm.
pieces by nature. I would like to think I'm more of a friendly type character, but I've had to get a lot more straight up with people because of what you just said. Like a lot of the value that I bring is getting the right people in the room. And part of the
Mhm.
right people means people that show up for each other, help each other. So are you hearing this dinging? My computer is just like going off.
I'm not hearing it. No.
Okay, good. Well, then I won't worry about it. Sorry
All
about
right, sweet. We'll cut that part out, or we'll leave it in.
that. Whatever. So much of the value comes from everybody else showing up for each other. So I've had to just get a lot more straight up with people and say, like, this is a 90-minute call once a month. You're required to be there. And going into 2026, I'm looking at ratcheting up the
Mhm.
accountability, which is what people pay to get into it and how like the rules and kind of the guidelines for staying in it. Like if you miss a certain number of meetings, or if you miss 2 in-person meetings in a row, you're out.
Yeah.
Like, or those types of things, because it's like everybody else is showing up. All these other
Mhm.
people want this. And I have a wait list of probably 15 contractors that want to get into a new peer group, and I don't have room for them. I don't have
Mm.
capacity for them. So that's kind of a separate issue, but a huge amount of it is like a huge amount of the value comes from just being accountable, doing what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, dude, I gotta add this in there because it reminded me of in my church we go to in Scottsdale here. There's this program called Rooted, and it's
Hmm.
essentially like it's kind of like a peer group but for church. And there's 11 sessions, right, every week on Wednesday or so. And I go to the first one. It was gonna be Olivia and I, and she couldn't make the first one, but I was there. And to your point, before like at the end of the very first one, we had a group of 9 people. At the end of the very first one, there's this essentially a contract that you had to sign saying, I will commit to being here, or I will commit to missing no more than 2 of these sessions of the 11. And if I can't commit to that, I can't sign this and I can't be here.
Hmm.
And it was crazy because I'd never had a situation like that. And I looked at my calendar, and no lie, I was going to miss the next 4 in a row because I was just on trips. Like one was Tampa when I was with you. And so I couldn't sign it and I couldn't go. But I loved that commitment because it's not the commitment to myself selfishly, it's the commitment to the other people that are being there. And
Yeah.
especially in a peer group that you have, the value is in the people you're with. But if it's like a ragtag group of, a couple people are here now, and a couple people are there when they want to be there, when they have free time, it's like that's not going to bring success. But you bring success with people that want to be there, that are focused, that have it blocked out in their calendar, that you mentioned you travel in person twice a year. So that's a commitment. There's a financial commitment. Like, hey, we want to get out as much as we want to put in here, but we need everyone to have that same commitment. So I love that you're ratcheting that up, because that is also, I think a lot of people respect that, of like, hey, we can still have fun, we can still learn a lot, but like we got to have guidelines of, you got to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I'm any of my customers that are listening to this right now, they'll be waiting for the DocuSign new contract in their inbox and be like,
Yeah.
if you miss so much as 5 minutes,
Yeah.
you're out.
And also too, I think there's a part of that too where there's the human side of it. Like we can have a framework and guidelines, but then sometimes things happen and there's some flexibility. And if somebody reaches out to you and says, Ben, like I have this, like my daughter just passed away, like I can't make it. It's like, of course
Oh,
you're going to be cool
yeah.
with that. And so, and you're going to help them beyond that. But you got to have that framework to make something like this worthwhile. And I've seen it over the last couple of years, and being a part of it, you've got something really, really cool going. You got a lot of really good momentum and amazing people in the industry that are getting involved. What have you seen over the last 2 years that maybe has surprised you, or has it all gone the way you thought it would go? Which is kind of a loaded question.
Like anyone listening to this who runs a business, yes, everything's gone exactly as I expected. No, no, not even close. One of the things that surprised me is the level of it's the desire for growth and improvement by the people in this industry. This shouldn't surprise me, shouldn't surprise you. I'm sure you work with many companies like this, but I've just been gobsmacked by the level of um, just the
Hmm.
hunger for we want to grow, we want to do it right, we want to treat people well. We want I talk to owners my customers are mostly owners or like senior leadership. So these are people that lead other people. We want to create great places to work that feed families. Like this is what people's desire is. This is what they want. And what I've been surprised by is there's all this noise out there in the world, in our sphere at least, this noise about all the problems in this industry and the challenges and the we've all heard stories of the owner that just sucks everything out of the business and buys a wake boat and a cabin and you never see him again. There's like a million stories like that, and people are beating the drum trying to fix that. I don't run into any of those people. I work
Hmm.
with people that are humble and hungry. That's and it's like, yeah, I probably have some I definitely have some customers that are probably or members of these peer groups and stuff that are um more wakeboard cabin escape kind of people than others. But then they get in the group and it's like a year later, you wouldn't even recognize them. I'm serious. This has happened multiple times. People come in and they're like, well, I guess like it's kind of like the pain gets bad enough that they're like, we got to try something else.
Hmm.
So they join a group, and then the pressure from the peers to focus on the right things just helps them shift their mindset completely. And I've seen that multiple times. It's like, yeah. So what surprised me is it's the, I don't know about the industry. I don't, the whole industry. I can't speak for the whole industry. I work with 100 contractors, but I
Hmm.
work with 100 bang up contractors that
Yeah.
that are doing it, in my opinion, doing it well, doing it right, doing it the right way, people focused, um, bound to make a profit, running their numbers, um, good public image, all these sorts of things, barometer that you and I would maybe measure somebody against. These guys are doing it, and it's been phenomenal to see.
What do you think? Because you mentioned this too. And I would totally agree. Like we have a little over 100 clients now we get to work with on a day-to-day basis, and they are our people. They are some of the best people that you could work with in the industry. And that honestly, it makes us look good. It makes you look good. It's like, oh, they're working with the right people, but it's them that bring that value. And so you mentioned too there, everyone has something to work on in their business. Everyone has something to adjust and improve. When you've been a part of all these conversations and you've worked with this many contractors, what are some of the things that often do need to be tweaked, or some of the things that are slipping through the cracks, or something that they do need to focus on? Like, what are some of those right thing focusers that you've seen pop up in your conversations and even in these workshops? All right, you dirtbags, I want to take one quick second, maybe a couple more, to thank our three wonderful sponsors all at once. So we just do one ad read. And thank you guys for listening to the show. But huge shout out to our three sponsors. You've heard me talk about them many times before. Um, Charlie Huff, the insurance legend when it comes to construction companies. Shoot him a text if you're looking to just compare prices, if you want a free quote, or if you want to just switch over to him because he knows the industry. His cell number, 435-764-4833. That's our guy, Charlie Huff. So many of you guys listening use him. We even use him for our company at Phaser, and he is just a man for the people. So shoot him a text. Of course, let him know you heard him on the Dirtbags podcast. It's always nice to get credit, and for him to, he always shoots me a text with a screenshot and just says, thanks for sending you guys over. But 435-764-4833. Charlie is the man. Massive shout out, of course, to Eljen Corporation. Eljen has been supporting the Dirtbags podcast for a while now. You can check them out on Instagram at Eljen Corporation, or learn more about what they do on their website, eljen.com. Elgin's been supporting us, but also they support our veterans of this wonderful country, and they help place veterans, U.S. veterans into the workplace. And we had that episode, I believe is episode 94, the 4th of July special with Drew Nicolai, to talk more about Eljen and what they do for the industry, the wastewater, the septic industry, but also what they do for our country. And it is just, we're so honored to get to work with them, and so thankful. So reach out to Eljen at Eljen Corporation on Instagram, or eljen.com, to see if their products are right for you. And finally, huge shout out to our team over at Sludgehammer. This is everyone, Will, Dr. Wickham, the whole team over there has just been absolutely incredible. Excited to spend some time with them in person at MSTA in Michigan. That's right where they're headquartered. And we'll get to spend some time with Eljen there as well. So Sludgehammer, you can go check out their new fancy website, sludgehammer.net. They have all their information on there of how you can become a network partner with them and use their products to have a whole new revenue stream, but also to take care of your clients even better when it comes to advanced septic solutions. So go check them out, sludgehammer.net, or of course, give them a follow on their Instagram at Sludgehammer Group Ltd. Let them know you heard them on the Dirtbags podcast. That is all that we have for our ad reads today. Wanted to try something new, shorten it up a little bit, put them all together, and just thank them and thank you guys for listening to the show as well. So let's get right back to the episode. Appreciate you guys a ton. Like, follow, subscribe, do all that stuff, but let's get right back into it.
So for context for folks listening, I kind of band these peer groups by revenue range. That way you don't have a guy that's doing 2.5 million a year and growing, talking to a guy that does 150 million a year and growing. Because while they're both in some respects the same, like they get paid to dig a hole and put pipe in and bury it, two different scales.
Yeah.
And the issues that they have are different. So I do kind of a 0 to 15 million, 15 to 50 million, 50 to 150 million. So these three different brackets. And my biggest customers are probably around that 125 to 150 mark. For the person listening to this, more than my hunch is they're probably under the 50, maybe under the 15. A lot of folks listening to this might be under the 15. So I'll focus there to answer your question. One of the biggest issues that I see that people under 15 million are running into, this will be no surprise to you, but they are so tied up in the business that they don't have time I almost hate to even use the phrase like work on the business because I think it's oversold. It's like um, there's plenty of people doing 100 million that work in the business, plenty of them. So I'm not saying you need to like back out and be able to go on a month-long vacation and the business doesn't need you kind of thing. But they're so integral, so part of
Mm-hmm.
the operation that the whole thing falls to pieces in an hour or in
Mm.
4 hours if you don't show up. And if you ask me, that's a problem. And
Yeah.
so that's like one of the main things that happens is when you get into or let's say I start a new group, I got um, I got 8 contractors that do 3 million, 5 million, 7 million a year, and they all fly in. We go to San Antonio, Texas, or Columbus, Ohio, or Connecticut or somewhere. We meet. One of the first things that we deal with is role clarity
Mm-hmm.
on their team and accountability. So why am I saying this? Why is this important and hopefully helpful for somebody? If you can, so if you do 4 million a year, you have more than just you on your team. You have a team. You have to,
Right.
or you do 6, 7, 8, 10 million a year. You have to have some kind of team. All right. That the issue is you've never been you've never been forced to clarify people's roles
Mm-hmm.
and hold them accountable for doing the things that you guys decide you're going to do. So I'm like building out this whole curriculum now because it just keeps coming up again and again and again. How do you clarify a role and how do you hold accountability? And there's better and worse ways to do it. One of the ways not to do it is tell somebody verbally one time what their job is,
Yeah.
leave, and then come back angry and livid that they didn't do their job. That's
Yeah.
not the way to do it. But to write it out, to discuss, to maybe explore, like, hey, here's what I think you should be doing. What do you think you should be doing? And you guys
Mm-hmm.
find a common ground for maybe a new PM. It's your first project manager you've ever hired, and you put them in place, find common ground. Maybe it takes 3 months or 6 months to find common ground so that they're doing what they should be doing and they're doing what you want them to be doing.
Yeah.
But taking the time and effort to clarify those roles just helps you back out of the business one more layer. And that's where this all began is like every single time, all of these people that run a $4 million business or a $10 million business and are growing
Mm-hmm.
struggle to clarify roles and hold people accountable for doing what they said they're going to do. So that's what I would say. I have a bunch more thoughts on this because it's like such a critical point. You can I don't believe you can grow to 20 million or 30 million without going through that pain somehow. Without
Yeah.
so in my view, you might as well start when you're 2 million. Like
Yeah.
start
Well,
doing it
and
now.
one of the big things too, and you mentioned clarify roles and holding accountability, and that because the fact is you will have a team at that size, right? And I think another huge thing at that size and to keep growing, and we've done this over the last year, is developing a leadership team. And so that goes to your original point of not using the cliche work on your business, which is true, but saying it in a different way. When you have a leadership team, everything doesn't rest on this one hinge as the owner, because a leadership team is a one team together like a board. And it's been so cool with our leadership team at Phaser to see how it's progressed. Of technically on paper, I do have the final say, but that is not how it works in our L10 meetings every Wednesday. We have every single week, we all work on the business, we all solve issues together. And my my say or my opinion holds the same weight as everyone else's. And the big part of that is me relinquishing some of that, of trusting the A players that we've hired to come into our company to build this together. And that is what also helps you get to that next level of delegating, of course, working on the business, making sure you're kind of in your working genius anyway of each person in the company. But you mentioned it so perfectly, the clarifying the roles, holding the accountability, and then I just throw in that other one too of just the developing of the leadership team. You can kind of see how that, I wouldn't say makes or breaks companies, but it definitely catapults some companies up into that next uh, phase of scale.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Uh, if you don't mind, I'll share one more thing that I've picked up that I think is maybe it's the next natural step after kind of you get your roles clarified, you start developing a leadership team. Then the
Hmm.
question becomes, as an owner, what do you do next? And this is like kind of the next natural step for, in our groups is what do you fill your time with? If you have a project manager now, and I say that because probably people listening to this, they know the pain of project management and how much of a time suck it absolutely just decimates your day every day. There's always pressure there. But then if you do 4 or 5 million or 10 million or even 20 million or more, you're more than likely the face of the business. And so the
Hmm.
question is, what do you do with your time? And uh, the most successful uh, entrepreneurs I've seen just go from all of the in the work in the project type work to business development and estimating. And
Hmm.
that's where people's focus is from 5 million to probably, I mean, some of them it's kind of where they stay. It's like maybe they're more drawn to it and they want to be involved in it, and that's fine. But it's like if you don't like developing business and shaking hands and kissing babies and running numbers,
Hmm.
like I'm not sure if you can just hire that out.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that's a great point because it that kind of comes with the territory of being an entrepreneur,
yep.
and
Someone's got to sell it.
yeah, exactly, and yeah, and also too yeah the the holding of the culture and the developing of it, because you're not necessarily the culture anymore when you're 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. It can't be one person culture. And that's
Hmm.
just not how the company's going to be run. So how can you make sure to continue to hold the culture of, or hold the standards of what your company is and who your people are? And you start to, of course, become bigger than just one person and bigger. Like it's not all about you. I'm sure there's an ego switch that happens as well with founders, with a lot of founders of it. The company doesn't necessarily need me as much as I thought it did. Once you start bringing in smart people that can do things better than you, and that's where you want to be, is people that can take care of your business better than you ever could solo.
Right. Yep.
Man, that's awesome. Dude, so tell me more about I gotta hear the trailer hitch story. You alluded to it a little bit, but tell me more, the trailer hitch story, what you learned from it. Super curious to dive into that.
Well, Luke, you get the you already know the story. You mentioned we were in Michigan early this year,
Hmm.
and I told this story as part of my talk there. Um,
Cost of doing business.
the cost of doing business. That's right. And the story is something like this, and I'll share the moral as well at the end of the story. But I was 18 years old or 19 years old, a kid, and I was working at a landscaping business here in Washington State, and I was like one of the first guys that went to work there. I think I was employee number two
Hmm.
in 2014 or 15 or something. I go to work. I kind of work my way up. We probably had 10 guys at the time, and the boss was going to go away for 4 or 5 weeks or something. Kind of
Hmm.
like the first test of on the business or out of the business,
Yeah.
and can the business run itself and whatever. He's on a honeymoon. So I just before he left, he got himself a new, brand new, like a Cummins pickup, just a beautiful piece of art, just a wicked awesome truck, and had it lifted, wheels, tires. He had like gone to the dealer and got it custom, got the cab lights put on the top,
Hmm.
headache rack, the whole thing. It was just a phenomenal. piece of art. And he had it parked in his garage, and he told me before he left, he's like, don't touch my truck, or don't let the guys touch my truck. He's like, I know you only run a half ton, so if you need to tow something, you can use it, but otherwise, like, please leave it in my garage, you know?
Yeah.
We were a small company, we were used to, grab the boss's old diesel or whatever and go tow something. Well, it's all good. He goes away. I make it like 2 weeks, uh, and finally I get this call from this construction manager. He's like, "Hey, we need this backyard graded out. We're trying to get this final inspection. Can you come take care of this?" And I had guys running over here on this side of the county, guys on this side of the county, and it was in the afternoon, and it was like there's nothing, there's nothing I could do except for I knew I had a trailer at the shop, I had an excavator parked at the shop, and I knew the boss's truck was there, and I saw my moment, and I'm like, all right, yes, matter of fact, I can get out there. So I rage over in my little GMC. I pick up his truck. I drive out of his garage just feeling like an absolute beast.
Yeah, for
Go to the
sure.
shop,
Sitting
obviously.
high.
Oh, dude, killing it. I hook up the trailer. I start loading the excavator into the back of the dump trailer. I get it just cresting into the trailer, and I hear this snap. And then I fall on the excavator like 12 inches. Goosh! And it turns out the ball on the hitch was too small,
Oh,
and the hitch popped off the ball and drove directly through the backup camera on his brand new pickup.
oh my gosh.
So you can imagine my chagrin as I kind of realized what happened. I spent like probably an hour trying to block and pull this thing out. Got the excavator off, tried to get this trailer out of this guy's truck, you know? But then it took me the rest of the afternoon to write this email to him explaining what I had done to his brand new
Yep.
baby with 7 miles on it.
Oh my gosh.
And what I learned from that whole experience was there are just things you simply don't know.
Hmm.
I did not know it was a 2-inch ball. I didn't know to look for it. I didn't, it was just, I didn't know.
Hmm.
Ignorant. And in many ways, I think the ignorance is okay. I was a 19-year-old kid that simply didn't know. But I don't think I think ignorance is a solvable issue, and it's better to learn that on a YouTube video than learn by putting the trailer through the boss's truck. Okay.
Yeah.
Or learn through somebody else's experience. So my encouragement to people is to solve your ignorance issue, whether that's I don't know how to make a good gross profit, I don't know how to make a net profit, never heard of it. I don't know how to file for taxes properly. I don't know how to execute work well. I don't know how to hold people accountable. You could think, you and I and everybody listening to this, we could think in a second about 10 things that we are just completely ignorant on.
Hmm.
And especially this time of year, you're just getting started in your year. You're probably, depending on your location, you're probably, this is a quieter season. This is a time for figuring out where you might be ignorant and where you want to improve. And so I just cannot possibly encourage people enough. Like, go find those issues, face the issue, look at it, even if it's ugly, even if it's hard to look at, even if maybe it's expensive to look at, like, and go solve the issue.
Man. Well, I love how you take the moral of the story and pull something terrifying that was terrifying at the moment, I'm sure, as a 19-year-old kid. Right. I'm sure writing that email was, and I got to ask this too. What was his response? Because everyone's listening is wondering that too. And how did the email go before we dive into more of the moral of the story?
I've wondered if it's just because he was, on the Amalfi Coast or something
Sure.
and living high. Maybe he was good to go. I think it's because he was a good man, but
Yeah.
he said, no worries, go get it fixed. You don't need to pay for it, even though I'd offered and
Wow.
yeah, we got it fixed up. But it was the cost of doing business.
That dude, that's such a great session. I don't want to jump too far off. This is how my brain works sometimes. Are you speaking at all on the cost of doing business at any other trade shows or anything?
No, you think I should? You
For
sat through
sure,
that.
dude. For sure. It was such
You
a
like
good
that?
session. It was so well thought out. It was applicable to the audience. This is the Michigan Septic Trade Association now, and but that could be any state association, that could be any construction audience, that could be any entrepreneurship audience, college entrepreneurship club class. I mean, it was very well done. And yeah, I mean, I think more people deserve to hear that presentation.
I appreciate you saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyone listening that wants to book a speaker, give Benjamin a shout at Benjamin Holmgren on Instagram or Benjamin Holmgren on LinkedIn. So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Or as the cool kids say, holler at your boy.
holler at ya boy. There you go. Dude, that was awesome. I love that so much. I think it's funny too, because the mistakes we make just get bigger and more expensive. And I think there's so much. I'm trying to think back too of just how many mistakes I've avoided in business because I've learned from coaches or mentors or people that have just told me, "Hey, I messed up so bad when I didn't put this in my contract. Like, do this," and I just do it, and then I forget that that may have just saved me years of time or hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever it might be. And so think about that, like the opportunity cost or the sunk cost of things we've learned already, but you're still going to have these big bumps in the roads along the way, which is just part of life and part of business too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all of us, entrepreneurs, I hope I'm not casting too wide a net and criticizing. It's not meant as a criticism, but we all have a desire to figure it out and probably a little bit of ego
Yeah,
that we're
there's
the
some of
kind of
that.
people that are gonna get this figured out. But it's just, why does it have to be so expensive and hard when your business is not that much different from the guy's business 3 states over? Like, you do
Hmm.
septics, he does septics.
Hmm.
You do digital marketing, somebody else does digital marketing.
Right.
I run peer groups, somebody else runs peer groups. And to honestly, it's like a quieting of the ego, like a
Hmm.
disposal of the ego to say, hey, I don't know. I'm not even aware of what I don't know. And I'm open to the fact that I might not have it all dialed in, and that's okay. It's like,
I think that's especially important for anyone listening that maybe feels like they're a smaller company or are a smaller company or just starting out, because there's so much um, focus in running your own business. And I mean that by just running your own game, running your own team, running your own business, running your own numbers, running your own culture, and focusing on your team and your business. And yeah, part of that is the need to keep going, of course, but you kind of put the blinders on to what everyone else is doing. And sometimes we get so sucked into, like you mentioned, other competition, or we're social media is a big one, or just this idolization of other people and what other people have. But hey, if you run your own business, you run your own numbers, like you're you're gonna be fine, and you're gonna be. And part of that too, there's a lot of gratitude that comes in with getting your own customers, getting your own clients, and treating them like they're your own clients, and not just shooting after the next, but like making sure you take care of this bubble of people that are making this machine run. And so, I guess any advice for small, and I hate to even say smaller companies because like we're small companies too, but it just,
right.
let's just say, yeah, companies under $3 million in revenue. Any advice for them? Maybe they're a few years in, to keep going or to just see success in the future.
Just general advice, things that I've
Hmm.
seen. I think there's a couple things. One, I'd echo what you just said, especially when your aim is to grow your revenue, grow your team, grow your fleet, grow. The aim and it almost becomes an obsession, this growth. Um, it becomes like this thing you have to do. And again, we're going back to ego. You get the
Mm-hmm.
ego involved and tied up in, well, we did 1.6 last year. We're gonna hit 2 this year.
Mm-hmm.
We did 2 last year. We're gonna hit 2.6 this year. And then you go to the ends of the earth in order to make that happen. I think your customers need to come first. And there's different perspectives on this. I think customers, if you don't have customers, you don't have a business. You can get an
Mm-hmm.
LLC at the state for $250 or whatever. But if you don't have customers, you don't actually have a business. And so there's all these people that will talk about the team. Your team is the most important first, and all this stuff. But I think for the people you and I are talking to that are trying to get to 1 million, trying to get to 2 million, there's one thing that's important, and that is your customers. And
Mm-hmm.
so if anybody's ever paid you for anything, focus on them.
Yeah.
Make sure they're taken care of. And that's why I think it's so underrated. Like when you're small, you can do so much to make people feel like you actually give a dink. Like there's just unlimited opportunity to make people feel like you care. You
Mm-hmm.
know this, Luke. You do this extremely well. I see you hand stamping thank you notes every week. It's like that's a small thing that does
Yeah.
not cost you bajillions of dollars. But do you know how much it means to somebody when it's like, oh, Luke saw me. He saw my business. He cares about what I'm doing. He sent me a hat. For you, it's 26 bucks. For them, it's like me and Luke, we're tight.
Yeah.
It's like so I would just say I would just encourage anybody who's hearing this, you listen to some big podcast or you watch a YouTube video with someone who runs a $2 billion excavation business. It's not relevant to you. Like
Mm-hmm.
much of that stuff is not relevant to you. Instead, you got to focus on Harry, 2 doors down, that's like got a septic problem, or you got to focus on this small home builder in your town that you just started working with that only does 10 homes a year, but you
Mm-hmm.
gotta you gotta make sure they're taken care of. I think that's underemphasized with people. Take care of your
Yeah.
customers, man.
Dude, I love that so much. And I love the concept too of just building one fan at a time in your
Mhm.
business and always treating it that way. Like you don't have to stop when you hit a certain revenue point, top line revenue, or it's just a facade. It's always putting those people first and just building it one fan at a time. And the reason it's said like that, it's not always clients. It's not always people that are going to work with you. It's, what about somebody that just follows you on social media or somebody that follow or listen to you speak at a conference or somebody that looks up to the way you run your company, the way you treat your people. And that is, you just want to build that relationship. And then also, too, when it comes to, um, you mentioned sending a hat and a handwritten card, that is an opportunity that I see to make an impression on somebody. Like, what is that first impression going to be? And if somebody orders a hat, or if you want to send somebody a hat, they expect a hat in a box. But you have this opportunity now, instead of stepping over dollars to pick up nickels, the dollars is in the opportunity of the box that you're sending to surprise them and make this a memorable experience. And that's where that wax seal note comes in, because how often do you get a wax sealed handwritten card from anyone in the world in your lifetime? And let alone extra whatever. We do notepads, air fresheners, extra hats, pickleball shirts, like whatever it is. To me, I don't even think about the cost because those are the nickels at the end. I don't want to step over the dollars, which is the experience and the building of a true fan of your company, something that you and I built from the ground up. That's something that didn't even exist, and everyone listening has that. Most people listening have a business that they started or have worked into. And so having that focus of the relationships, the long-term value, and of somebody that doesn't always have to be paying you for your service, but somebody that can just vouch for you, somebody that can see your character, that becomes a fan of your company. I mean, that to me is worth so much more than any sort of dollars and cents we put on what we're sending them. And then also too, your time. Like everyone always says, how do you have time to write those cards? How do you have time to wax seal them? It's like, well, I prioritize it. Nobody likes to hear that.
Yeah, it's important.
um, and sometimes I'm kind of a jerk about it. I'll say, I had one person ask me, how do you systemize like the writing of those cards? And I was like, well, there's this new tool that came out. It looks like this. And you click the button on top, and actually, if you move your hand like this, it'll actually write in the card for you. But
You're such a savage.
I know it. I try to be nice about it, of course, but that's the point. Is the recipient on the end knew that
Yep.
took time out of your day to write. But it's amazing what that does for you on the writing end, but then as the recipient as well. So it's a very small thing, but one of my other favorite things too is when somebody sends you a gift that is so memorable because they listened, and you're one of the best listeners I've ever talked with. And when you can listen and then you pull something out of a conversation, and then let's say you gift it to that person 6 months later, that is just one of the nicest, most thoughtful things you can do. And it not because of the gift, but because it shows that you listened. And so that's
100%.
another key element here in taking care of your people, but also just building one fan at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I'm so sold on it. The reason, just for me personally, the reason it's so meaningful. I could have used you asked that question. I could have said anything. I went to focus on your customers
Mhm.
because I have just seen it's just been so deadly obvious to me over the last 2 years. When you take care of your customers take care of your gross profit and your net profit.
Mhm.
That's where your gross and your net will come from, is from your customers' wallets. So
Yeah.
take care of
It
that.
and they're happy to see that too, because
Yeah.
usually if people want to, I always say winners want to work with winners, right? And if they see you winning and they're winning and they come together, and like that's just what happens, then you can be incredibly uh, thoughtful and responsible with the profits that you do have, and continue to grow the company, continue to give, and continue to prosper through that as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
So good.
love it. So the I know on the last podcast we talked a lot about some of the running you've been doing. Obviously, there's the 100-mile race, but tell me more about the last man standing race. I want to hear more about it. Like, let's unpack it. I'm not as big of a runner, but I've been getting into it. Olivia and I ran our first marathon together in Hawaii 2 years ago, and we're going to run one more in April, or I'm going to run one in April here in California. So the challenge, and that's really a lot of what it is. It's the mental challenge, and then you got to make sure you're ready physically to complete the challenge. But the last man standing race, I mean, this is on another level. Tell me more about the race, what you learned from it. Walk me through what happened.
So if you don't know what a last man standing race is, this particular format, it was you run 6 miles every 90 minutes, and then the cutoff was 17 laps, so 24 hours. 24 hours, and then they'd run like a final lap, and then whoever won that final lap won the whole race. Okay, so everyone kind of goes at whatever pace. You run 6 miles, you take a break, however long that break is, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you go run another 6 miles and run another 6 miles for 16 times, and then you race on the last lap after 96
Oh
miles.
my,
Just
quick
dirt.
math. How many miles is that?
102 miles total.
Oh my gosh,
Dirty.
that's
Um,
insane.
So for context, I've run one 100-mile race. I've run multiple 50-mile races, like with lots of elevation,
Wow.
bunch of marathons. I've done some hard things. The last man standing race, I did this 2 weeks ago in St. George, Utah. Dude, it absolutely waxed me. I think the format Like the format is just sick and dirty. It's just bad because you think
Yeah.
just chilling. You think you just have all this time. I was doing like my first several laps, like first probably 25 miles. I would go out. I'd run like a 9 minute pace, which is a very very easy pace for me because I train a lot of fast runs and stuff.
Hmm.
It's an easy pace, and I felt like I was just standing still. And I'd come in first out of the 100 people that were running or whatever. I'd be in first one back in the gate, and I'd be sitting in my lawn chair having like a
Yeah.
snack and hanging out. And then we go out and do it again. But then it was night, and we ran through the night. It was 28 degrees. It was like we did what it was dark for 14 hours or something, and it was just nasty. It was a gut job. I went out too fast. I by 50 miles, 55 miles, like my legs were like, okay, this is not fun.
This is
Like
real.
this is yeah, it's getting real. I started running slower, so I'd have less time to quote recover, which
Sure.
you don't ever actually recover, but go to the bathroom, drink something, eat something. And one of the biggest failures I made, Luke, that ended up with me stopping, I quit. I quit. I'm a quitter. I quit at 66 miles. One of the biggest reasons I think I did that was at 60 miles, I ran in, I went to my chair. I had a lawn chair and a throw blanket I got off the back of the couch, and I had my food. I was just frozen solid, had my little heat warmer pack, whatever, like a cold weather, hot, what do you call those? Hot hands.
Yeah, the hot hands.
And I'm like just shivering with cold. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna rest my eyes for a second, and then I'll eat something. And I lay down, and then I just hear runners 2 minutes, runners 2 minutes. I'm like, no, no. So I'm just stumbling over, legs can barely move. I get to the start. We start running, and it just looks like I looked like I had serious problems. I finished the 11th lap, 66 miles, and then
Wow.
I got done, and I had made a couple promises to myself. I wasn't going to quit before the sun came up.
Yeah.
Wasn't going to die in the chair, meaning I wasn't going
Yeah.
to stop while sit in the chair for 20 minutes, about to start, and then be like, nah, I'm not going to start.
Hmm.
So I'm like, either I have to quit right this second, or I have to go run another lap and then stop. And so the sun came up, and I was just like, I'm out of here. This
Man.
blows. Now I want to finish the story. I packed up my things. I went in my truck. My truck wouldn't start because it was so cold, like the electric start or whatever, it wouldn't start. So I had to warm up use the hot
The
hand,
engine
warmed up
block
my
heater.
keys. Yeah, yeah. No, it's like the keys or whatever. So I had to warm up the keys. Finally got the truck started. I just sat there for like 15 minutes, and everybody else was out running. And I was like, I do not care. All I want is a hot cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I went and got a cup of coffee. I ate a croissant. I drove home just like just bleary-eyed. I went straight in the hot tub. I'm like, just this
That
is
sounds so
killer.
nice.
The sun's coming up. It's just beautiful. I went and took a nap. I woke up at like noon, and the race was going to finish at 4 o'clock. I woke
4
up
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Yeah. Yep.
Gosh.
That's when the race was going to be done. I woke up from my nap at like noon, and then I realized what I did. And I'm like, I have to go run 66 miles just to get to the starting line, the new starting line where I got to go finish this race. It was just like this overwhelming, like this just blows chunks, man. Like this is
Hmm.
not cool because I quit. I quit. I didn't need to, but I did. And I made this post on the internet a few days later or something about it, like, hey, because I that's what I do. I make posts on the internet thinking all my deepest thoughts. And every single comment, there was all these comments, and every comment was like, dude, I can't imagine doing 66. I'd say you won. I'd say you did great. This is awesome. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I know. Like it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what all these people say. Like I know I should have finished. Brutal. So I learned like probably 10 things as far as gear, prep, food, don't nap. like that. Bring propane heaters so you can actually warm up. Don't run as fast. I learned these kind of practical things that I think I would like to think if I did it again, I could finish. But dude, it was a bloodbath. It was gnarly.
Yeah, man. As you were talking there, I got the post pulled up here. I was just looking at it, and it, yeah, and towards the end of the post too, you're like, I honestly don't know what to make of it. Like, you haven't
Mhm.
fully set on, because a lot of the comments are, dude, 66 miles, that's insane. Like, you're optionally choosing to do this, that's amazing. But there is a part of it where 66 miles wasn't the goal. You know what I
Nope.
mean? And that was
Nope.
not the challenge, and that was not the what your mind and your body should have been ready for.
Yeah.
It was more than that. It was 102, and sure, if you weren't in first, that's one thing, but finishing is a whole nother thing to battle.
It's kind of a painful thing. I don't know if you can actually technically DNF a last man standing, but
Yeah.
I did not finish. So
Yeah, because I suppose if you're, yeah, if you're on that last lap, I mean, you're gonna finish. So maybe you just mentioned this, but is there another one in the pipeline here?
it's just like it's one of those things, man. It's like it's unfinished business.
Oh, for sure.
Like I have to. So
Yeah, you can't go up to heaven, knock on the door, and God's like, how
It's
was the last man standing race? Well, I
how
quit.
was it
So
down there?
how was it
It
down
was
there?
fine.
Yeah, dude, that's what an opportunity. We always talk about this on the podcast, but doing hard things, getting out of the comfort zone, that's where growth lies. And you know that better than anyone, of just pushing yourself physically, mentally, relationally, but spiritually. And it doesn't just happen in comfort. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's like this is also something to wrestle with, because and you're so good at this, but the facts are, like, you did quit and didn't finish, and you're trying not to be too hard on yourself, but at the same time too, you can use that as motivation to go back and get her done.
Yeah. 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 It's just unfinished business. I'm not done yet.
Not
So
done. Yeah, I love
I
that,
got
dude.
it.
Unfinished business. Well, I mean, good for you, man. I know a lot of people listening, including myself, are, inspired by that kind of effort and that kind of intentionality and just ferocity in being better. And we all have it in us. I'm a big goal setter. I love setting goals. I love seeing improvement in myself, in others, and people I care and love about. And yeah, like hearing stories like this, like, man, I can ratchet this up. Like, let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. So we'll all be rooting for you, man, and excited to hear how the next one goes.
Love it.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah, dude. Um,
But I was going to ask Luke, if
yeah.
you don't mind, can we, I know this is coming out the end of January, but do you mind if we spend just like a couple minutes talking about year-end review and
Oh yeah.
looking forward? Speaking of goals.
Dude, 1000%. That is probably my favorite topic. I mean,
All
so
right. Yeah.
this is
Okay. I just
yeah, I
think
mean,
it might be helpful for folks, especially if you're not, you just said you're a goal setter.
mhm,
I'm probably more of a goal setter by nature and stuff. But let's say
mhm,
you're not a goal setter, but you're listening to this and you're like, okay, I don't really see the value of goals. I set goals, but then sometimes I hit them and sometimes I don't. Sometimes they're
mhm.
too easy, sometimes they're way too hard. I'd love to just talk a little bit about the process that I've used because it might be helpful
Mhm.
for others. And then I'd love to hear yours as well for kind of this year end going into the new year. And I know, like I said, I know it's coming out end of January. That's fine. Like
Yeah.
if you're listening to this end of January, beginning of February, doesn't matter. It's still like early in the year, man.
This will catch the stragglers that maybe haven't set goals yet, that they listen to this, it's end of January. They're like, you know what? Let's get on it. It's not a New Year's resolution kind of thing. We're
Nope.
in February. I mean,
Yep.
for Pete's sake, let's
Season
get
hasn't
on this thing.
started.
So this could be that extra motivation. But dude, let's dive in. What does your process look like for setting goals? Like, is it a yearly thing? Is it quarterly? How do you break it down?
I do one big annual goal setting. Now, I'll clarify one thing. I don't know if it's worth clarifying, but it's been helpful for me to think about. Um, I there's SMART goals. There's all these different frameworks you can learn about if you Google goal setting. Jordan Peterson talks about having an aim, like
Mm-hmm.
aiming at the horizon, aiming up. And I've found that to be very useful for me in goal setting this time
Mm-hmm.
of year, like sort of thinking about, okay, what does 2026 have? What does aiming up look like for me mentally, physically, in my marriage, in my parenting, in my business, in how I deal with my customers? What does aiming up mean and look like? And then set what I call aims around that. So not SMART goals. Yeah, specific aims. Like I definitely had a revenue goal for this year, and I definitely
Mm-hmm.
had a fitness goal for this year and that kind of thing. But I think the reason this has been an important kind of shift I've made in the last couple of years is I used to set a goal and then it'd be like by October, I'm like, there's no way I'm hitting this. So then it would just be like, well, rest of the year is just off, whatever, who cares? And that didn't help me, didn't help me at all. It's like, the question is, are you moving up?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going somewhere? And I've just got a ton out of that. So I do my aim setting this time of year, and my process is a little bit funny. I'm really into it. I think you could do this in a couple hours, but I take kind of a few weeks and I just find little pockets of time, find an hour or two here or there where I can go to a coffee shop or I sit in
Mm-hmm.
my office and I plug in my noise canceling headphones and I just think. I write down a few questions. I write down what went well this year, what didn't go well, what did I learn? That's a huge thing. So pain plus reflection equals progress. So if I can reflect on what were the most painful things that happened to me this year and what did I learn from that, that just immediately translates into this coming year. So I think about all that stuff. I write a ton. I type or write, and then kind of shift from, okay, what was 2025 like to what do I want to be true in 2026? What is my aim for 2026? And just kind of go down the list physically, mentally, relationships, spiritually. What are we working toward? What are we aiming at in 26? So, like I said, it's not a super defined process, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not. I think you could do this in 3 or 4 hours, but I just super enjoy it. I get an Americano, I sit and I think, and it just hits, man. It
I'm
slaps.
assuming it's a hot Americano, right?
100%. Yeah, I would
Okay, I just
never
want to
touch
make sure we're
anything
on the
else.
same page here.
Yeah, dude.
No iced Americanos.
Nah, I'm not a girl. No.
Yeah, that I will say an iced coffee in Arizona when it's 118 degrees is I'll take it.
My wife and I go to Phoenix usually every winter, and
Yeah.
it's like 80 or 90 degrees, and I'll get my hot Americano, and people are like,
Dude, it's so awesome here. I'm eternally frozen from being born and raised in Minnesota and living there my whole life. I love Minnesota too. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. But living in Arizona has been, I don't know, if anyone wants to try it out, let me know. You can come hang out with us, stay at our place, check it out for a winter. It is wicked. It's pretty awesome. And Utah is unbelievable as well. There's a lot of similarities between the two with Arizona and Utah.
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Dude, that is, I love that. So is that typically done before or after January 1st or kind of in
Around,
around?
yeah, just kind of the quiet couple of weeks in and
Yep.
out.
We do that same time of year as well because usually this time of year it's like we're back to work. At least I am, but not everyone else is. So it's really
Yeah,
quiet, and then boom, you hit New Year's and it's like another day off. And so Olivia and I are doing our process or our vision day basically the weekend after New Year's Day. So it's like I think it's the
nice.
second or the third.
Yeah,
And
yep.
what we do for that, we've done it the last few years. And I appreciate you sharing that, Benjamin, because I there's everyone does it differently, and there's lots of ideas we want to throw around on the podcast too of like what works for other people and what might help somebody listening that relates to what you do. And it's like, man, that sounds awesome. I want to try that this year. And then for anyone still listening that is going to try that, definitely reach out to Benjamin. Let him know if you have any questions. Like how he does a certain way or what he thinks about during that process, definitely reach out to him on LinkedIn or Instagram.
Big
And
time.
yeah, man, what we've done the last few years, and it's just been so awesome. We the around the first of the year, we do a vision day. So we go off site, we go to a coffee shop, we post up, and it's my wife and I. And nowadays you can put this into Chat GPT to get it's you want one person to be the narrator. And so what you want to do is what we do is we sit there together and we start by kind of just going through a vision of what does your life specifically look like on January 3rd, 2031, right? That's 5 years from now. And like, where are you? Is it cold? Is it hot? Are there kids running around? What do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel like? Um, who are you with? Where are you sleeping? Is
Hmm.
there, do you smell coffee? Like going through this vision and like I said before I get too deep into that, nowadays you can have ChatGPT prompt the narrator to give you that story to make sure you ask those questions. But what's super important is you go slow, the narrator talks, and you just sit and you think. And you when the narrator asks a question, what do you smell? Give it some time, think, then say it, then answer the question. And so we go through this vision not to project our life, what we want, but just what we honestly could see. And it might be like, yeah, we're on a trip with our families and we're going skiing. Like I don't know why, but I could just see that. And there's a bunch of kids running around and there's breakfast going. And so the exercise of doing that and getting super specific and detailed really helps with the next part of this process. And so we go through the vision. There's a bunch of questions we ask in there. I won't dive too much into that. And then we have 5 categories that we will set goals for each year. And these have changed the last couple of years, but the last 2 or 3 years they've been the same. We have a physical goal, a financial goal, a career goal, which for me would be business, an education goal, and then a bucket list. And so we'll kind of run through those. The physical goal, and I'll give some of my examples as well to give people listening some context. Like physical goal, I did the 10K Spartan race this year. And
Hmm.
last year, Olivia and I's physical goal was a marathon. And what's important is the accountability side. So if you have a significant other, I highly recommend you guys do this together. And then if both of you finish one category, so let's say I do my physical goal, my wife does hers, we have a champagne bottle that has the physical goal written on it that we get to physically pop and enjoy and reflect on that journey together. But if one of us doesn't, of course, finish that by the end of the year, it stays in the cupboard. So there's a direct
Hmm.
reward, I guess you could say, and a celebration when accomplishing that. And that was important that we fixed a few years ago because before we'd finish it and nothing would happen.
Right,
And,
right.
or one of us would finish it and we'd celebrate, but it's like, no, we want to do it together. So
Yeah.
physical goal, financial, some ideas like last year's, let's try and get 20% of our home in equity. So let's get rid of PMI, we said that mortgage insurance. And so working together to budget and to, accomplish that. And that was a goal we did together. It could be to pay off student loans, could be to pay off a car, like whatever you want to do on the financial side. Career, this is where I would usually add in a couple layers to some business goals. Our
Hmm.
career goal this year is 100 clients. We'd usually set some revenue goals in there, and then yeah, and then we'd have that. Education, this is one of our favorites. This kind of ties into our core values of lifelong learning. Like we should always be learning as humans. Um, my front runners this year were either get my CDL just to learn how to drive a rig and learn the way of the road, or get my pilot's license. Two things
Very
I knew nothing
nice.
about, right? And that's the goal with education um, uh, category is to learn something you don't know anything about. It could be a language, but there has to be an accomplishable task. So you can't just say, I'm going to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
What does that
Yeah.
mean? I'm going to pass the level 2 Spanish test that Rosetta Stone offers. Let's,
Mm.
as an example. So that would be an education goal. And then by far our favorite, the bucket list. The bucket list has such a weird connotation to it because a lot of times people think, yeah, we're on our deathbed, we're old, and we have this bucket list that we wish we would have done all these
Yeah.
things. Why not? And it doesn't have to be crazy. Pluck one thing from your bucket list now each year and do it. And I think a big misconception too is people think it has to be a world traveling or this
Mhm.
expensive thing, but a bucket list item could be, you know, having a Toy Story marathon with your whole family and your kids on a
Mhm.
weekend. Like that could be a bucket list item for people. And so making sure though that you prioritize it so each year you and your spouse, if you have one, or just yourself, are doing one
Mhm.
of those things from your bucket list each year. And what that does too is that kind of forces you to think longer, like you said, out past your nose to develop a list of things you want to do in this life because it is a short life and we want to make sure that we enjoy it as well, enjoy God's great gift. And then those are the five categories. And then one big piece that is often missed by us and most people that set goals is we wait till October and we're like, shoot, I haven't even started my training or I haven't even started on my physical goal. And we do monthly meetings in our house where it's like we go through our goals. We go through physical, financial, career, education, and bucket list. We go through our budget and we have an open spot for our marriage to talk about, what could I do better? What could she do better? And it's a safe place for us to talk about things that would improve our relationship. And so,
Oh, that's awesome.
upcoming purchases, upcoming trips, upcoming expenses, all these kind of things we can talk about in this meeting. And usually it's, um, the first Thursday of the month, and we set in our Google Calendar and we just go from there. So
Mm.
that can create some framework and some boundaries of, okay, what do you need to do by the February meeting to make progress towards your physical goal or financial? And then you just rework it back from there and create these sub goals to accomplish these big ones. So that's how we do it. It helps kind of accomplish like we're competitive, so we like gamifying things and we like yeah, you get to pop the champagne and reflect on it and have it and celebrate when you complete it. And also too, usually each year we'll complete together 2 to 4 of the categories. I don't think we've ever gotten all five. And so that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're completing all five every single year, they're too easy.
Just smashing them by May.
Can't be doing that.
Waste the rest of your year. Congrats.
Yeah. So, but yeah, dude, that's
So
kind of
good.
what we do and we go through. But it's one of our favorite things, just because we love pushing each other to be better. But then also too, it's been so awesome even with the podcast. Like I get to goal set with a lot of friends that listen to the show, a lot of clients, a lot of other business partners, and it's not like it's just you and your spouse that need to set goals together. Reach out to somebody that can hold you accountable to these goals. Reach out to you, and you'd be shocked. I mean, it's just amazing the community you can have with growth and with just making sure that we're putting our best foot forward.
Yeah, it's as you're describing this, it's like you're describing some of what happens in peer groups. It's like
Mhm.
you and Olivia started your own little mini peer group and you meet once a month and
Yeah.
talk about your goals and stuff. It's like the some of the most I guess so much juice from seeing people do this. Uh we set what we call success statements. I am successful when I have
Hmm.
done these things. We set a big 6 month, at our in-person meetings, and then we set monthly, every call, we set monthly. And you might be shocked at the transformation, like different people 1 year to the next.
Wow.
Like the amount of and I think that's what's so wild about the person listening to this that has a fleet of equipment and has a bench of employees and has a bunch of customers and is responsible for and carries the bag for $5 million worth of work a year or 10 million
Hmm.
a year in work. That's no small thing. It's a
Hmm.
big thing. and the responsibility can feel like a 10,000 pound backpack you're carrying around. The encouragement I would offer is you, yes, you have the responsibility, but if you're in this position, you have the strength.
Hmm.
You got here for some reason. Like you have the strength. Your job is to carry the backpack. And I don't think it needs to feel like 10,000 pounds all the time. I think making incremental progress on the things that bug you the most is like your ticket out of the ditch.
Hmm.
So like what Luke just described or what I described these goal setting or setting your aims, like if you're struggling, you're frustrated, you're annoyed with how things went in 2025, you don't have enough work, you have too much work, you don't have enough people, you have too many people, your payroll is too high, you all these problems that you might face. It's like, what's the next thing you can do? Solve it. Like, and then go to the next thing. It's your job to pick up the backpack and go. So I just encourage people like you're not by yourself, even when it feels like it.
Yeah, dude. It definitely feels like it a lot of times. And I think that's what we're trying to do our best with the podcast to provide insight into other businesses, other perspectives, and other people that show that, hey, you're not alone on the other end listening to this. And there is a community, there is a group out there, especially in entrepreneurship and just going through the ups and downs that they'll go through. And yeah, it's what builds character. It's what builds people. It's what builds leaders, really.
Hmm. Yeah. If I can share finally, Luke, uh, on that note, like my biggest bit of encouragement,
Hmm.
which I think I may have shared during that talk that we referenced earlier, but I'm a Christian. If you look in the Bible in Romans 15, verse 1, it says, "You then that are strong ought to bear the challenges or infirmities of the weak, not to please yourselves, but to serve others." And my friend Alex Judd would say, "Strength is for
Hmm.
service." It's a rip off, but I stole it and I made it one of my core values at Kestaa. Strength is for service. And again, if you're listening to this and you run $1 million business or a $10 million business and you have a lot of people relying on you, you're here for a reason. You got here for a reason. And the strength that you have is no accident
Hmm.
and it's meant to serve other people. You'll get what you need. You'll get what you need out of it. But uh, point that in 2026 towards service, and you're gonna have a banger year, man. You're not gonna lose.
Dude, very well said, man. Thank you for diving into that. I love that the strength is for service. I think that is spot on. As you mentioned, you said one of your core values.
Yeah. Yep.
So good, dude. I love that. Um, man, this has been awesome. As we keep going, as we wrap up here, I definitely wanted to hit on one other point too. You've talked to me about it, at least about thinking strategically rather than tactically. If you can discuss a little bit more about that, unpack it before we get into our book recommendations. But what do you mean by when you someone thinks strategically versus tactically, and what is the difference there?
So much of what I see, and I experience myself, we get sucked into tactics.
Hmm.
I mentioned it earlier. One of the big problems that somebody that does sub 10 million a year, even sub 20 million a year, is they get sucked into project management just by
Hmm.
default. They can't have the project fall on its face, so they go run the project or they're involved in the project management. Maybe they have an APM, but they can't really trust them with everything, so they're still involved, and it just sucks the life out of everything else that you are trying to do. And so thinking tactically is
Hmm.
thinking, okay, what's the next move I need to make on this project? How do I make sure this pipe is there at the right time, but not too soon? On and on. Who's going to go here? You get a text at 5 a.m. Hey, I'm sick today. Okay, how do you respond to that? All these things that just happen day to day to day. Uh, it's not an automatic thing you can just do like, oh, I'm just going to think strategically.
Hmm.
I've been thinking tactically. Now I'm going to think strategically. It's not like something you do in an afternoon, but to begin to think strategically
Hmm.
rather than just thinking what needs to be done right this second. So many of the people I begin to work with are 100 or 99% in tactics, all day, every day, tactics. And when they're not looking at a project, they're looking at their equipment. When they're not looking at equipment, they're looking at cash flow. When they're not looking at cash flow, they're looking at their employees and how do I get more employees? All these
Hmm.
tactical things, but missing all the things we've been talking about. Goal setting. Where are you going with this thing?
Hmm.
One of the biggest um, curses of a really good economy is that it makes everybody seem like they're Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk uh, had a kid and it's you. It's like it's not that shouldn't be true.
Yep.
Because it's easy to get work and it's fairly easy to get financing on equipment, you just go. And then all of a sudden you have a $20 million business on accident and you're rudderless. You don't know where you're headed.
Hmm.
It's because you're neck deep in tactics every day, and then you blink and you wake up and it's been 6 years and you now are responsible for 40 families and $20 million in backlog. It's a spooky place to be. And so, yeah, Herb Sargent, who's a mentor at some of my peer groups, he's been so good for this exact topic, helping people find a rudder,
Hmm.
take control of the rudder and look at where they're actually going strategically.
Herb Sargent is the man. He's so awesome.
Dude, if you Google, a lot of people don't know this, Merriam-Webster's dictionary, if you Google the man, it's just a picture of Herb that
No way.
shows up.
I'll be doing some research after this. It's a picture. It's his LinkedIn picture.
100%.
Oh, dude, I love it. I lied. I have one more for you before we get to book recommendations. So the talk to me about the value of questions. Maybe this is a form of listening, maybe this is a form of focus, but the value of questions in a conversation, in a business relationship. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
About the value of questions.
Yeah. How do you use that in your business, or how do you use that in your conversations to pull information out of people?
There's 10 million people that could talk about this more eloquently than I can. Here's what I
Hmm.
would say. This is just my experience. You to be able to connect with people, to get them to trust you, to be able to make any progress, business relationship or personal friendship, anything. It starts with actually making people feel like you give a dink about them.
Hmm.
And the way you make people feel like you give a dink about them is by asking them questions. It's like the way you know somebody doesn't care is they don't ask you any questions.
Hmm.
Like the reason they don't care, they don't. The reason they don't ask questions, they don't care. They don't
Yeah.
care where you're from. They don't care how you ended up in Arizona. They don't care how your business is doing, what goals you have for this coming year. It's like a big, blaring, bold, underlined, italics. I don't care. If nobody bothers to ask you questions, it's like that's how you get information. So, more practically, I think just slowing yourself down a little.
Hmm.
We're all in so much of a hurry to get information out, to say things, give our opinion, give our thoughts on everything. It's like if you can just practice, slow down for like literally 2 seconds, 3 seconds, take a breath, and then if you can, like push yourself, think of a question you can ask.
Hmm.
Think of a question. And then somebody else will start talking. And next thing you know, you'll be actually in a real conversation. Like I said, there's 10,000 people that could talk about this more eloquently than I can, but in my own experience, it's like number one, probably one of the best things I've ever done is learned how to just slow down and just ask people questions like you're doing on this podcast. Like prompting, get them talking.
Yeah. And you can start to dig too. You can start to see the sparkle in the eye and the passion. And this happens anywhere. This happens at Christmas. This happens in a business meeting. This happens in the hallway to a stranger. And if you think about it, I was trying to reverse engineer, just put myself in somebody else's shoes. I'm like, or for myself, when was I really attracted to somebody in a conversation, and not physically, of course, but just like
Yeah.
engaged or wowed of like, wow, that this person cares. And it's when they ask really thought-provoking questions that derail me off my track of normal answers. And what I mean by that is, how are you doing? Good. How's your day? Great. Yeah, it's beautiful out here. It's awesome. Yeah, the Vikings, terrible year, but next year's the year. The same things you say every single time, but the people that stick out to
Every
me
year.
every year, they're good enough to have a bad draft pick, but not good enough to win it. But when the people that really stick out to me, and this is the person I want to be as well, right? Because we're reverse engineering it, are the people that ask me questions. I just had this the other day where somebody's like, Luke, what are you most proud of from this year? I'm like, give me a second here. And it makes you think about it because derails you off your normal train of thinking, which is just so monotonous. And if you can do that, and this person is calmly waiting for an answer, they're not asking the next question already. They're not saying what they're most proud of. They're waiting for your answer. And you mentioned it here, Benjamin, but just like taking a breath, pausing, waiting, listening. And part of that comes with a good question. So, and also too, there sometimes you can probe enough too, where yeah, how's your job? How's your job going? What do you do for work? Oh, I'm an accountant, but it's not that fun. It's like, okay, what else can I ask? Maybe it's of their current job that can keep pulling information, or maybe it's of their future. Like what do they want to do? What do they see themselves doing? Maybe it's not even asking about their job at all. And this is one of my favorite ones that I've been asked as well before that is really good for somebody that maybe isn't as career driven. What is something you're most excited about that you're working on right now? Boom.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
good. Got the
Such a good
chills
one.
just thinking
Yep.
about it. That, because what that does is that's not anything about a job. It's not anything about business. It can be if you're excited about it, but it's an open-ended question to the person of what's it most exciting in their life right now that nobody asks them about. And then
Hmm.
you listen and you stop and you wait. And when they give that answer, don't let them cop out. Don't let them give a short answer. If they start talking about their art, ask them about it. Genuine curiosity, because there's a good chance you and I don't know much about the topic they're going to talk about, right? So if
Right.
they start talking about art, our main thing is like, oh, I don't know anything about that. That's boring. I'm going to go to talk about something else.
Yep. Yawn. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Keep asking questions, learn something, use this as an opportunity to learn something for yourself selfishly. But what that does is it gives that other person an opportunity to speak about something that nobody asks them about because nobody cares. When
I
really you do
uh,
care and you can care. And it's just that genuine show of care and respect and the questions that you ask. It's so inspiring when you have somebody on the other side asking you good questions. You're like, I want to be more like that person. That person really stood out to me because they seemed like they made me feel important.
mhm. Mhm.
So good, dude. So good.
Yeah. If I could make one recommendation for anybody listening to this, go on Instagram and follow at Jefferson Fisher. I was at a small event a couple weeks ago, and Jefferson Fisher was the speaker, and he's a trial attorney by trade, but he's kind of like, Chris Voss,
Hmm.
Never Split the Difference.
For sure.
He's like Chris Voss's counterpart.
Hmm.
They sometimes share the stage together and stuff, but he's very, very good with people and communication and getting your point across. Uh, and I've started following him since that event, and so much of his content is just like extremely practical, immediately applicable, and
Hmm.
I love it. So couldn't recommend it more, and it's immediately uh, related to what we're talking about. It's like, how do you become a better listener and communicate more effectively?
Yeah, man, that's so good. Thank you for dropping that in. Love actionable takeaways too, especially if we can deliver them in a podcast. So, go give Jefferson Fisher.
Yep.
Go give him a
Yep.
follow. And then for anyone still listening, of course, give the man Benjamin Holmgren a follow on Instagram and LinkedIn. We're going to wrap it up here with the final segment. Any books, podcasts, reading materials, anything that you've been diving into or want to get into that you'd like to recommend to our audience, any authors, anything like that moving forward?
Yeah, a book and a podcast by the same guy, Morgan Housel. And he just wrote a book, a new one that just came out a handful of months ago. It's called The Art of Spending Money.
Hmm.
And I'm a big fan of some of the concepts he talks through, and it's different. It's different than you might expect. So I would
Mm-hmm.
highly recommend that book. And then his podcast is kind of more general philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
all very short 10-15 minute episodes, never has any guests. It's just him talking through a concept or an idea, which I
Mm-hmm.
really, really appreciate. Like a different kind of format like that is cool. And it's sweet for like I go on a 30-minute run, I listen to two podcasts, I'm good to go. You know,
Nice.
it's awesome. So highly recommend the Morgan Housel podcast as well.
Man, good
And then
stuff.
finally, I'm not sure if I made this recommendation last time I was on here or not, but I've been re-listening to this book for the millionth time, this time with my kids, called The Go-Giver. You ever read The
Mm-hmm.
Go-Giver, Luke?
I have, yes. My mom gave it to me, and it's an unbelievable book.
It's like the simplest book in the world. It's so straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
And in many ways, it could seem obvious, but
Mm-hmm.
all those things that we don't do by just naturally, we don't do it. And it's just turning your attention from yourself to how can you give, how can you contribute. But it's done in a very, very cool way. Like I'm listening with my 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 6-year-old, and we get in the car yesterday. They're like, "Can you put the Go-Giver on?"
Wow.
Absolutely, I can.
That's so cool. Yeah, definitely. Morgan Housel, The Art of Spending Money. And then, of course, The Go Giver, that book. Two, just, I haven't actually read The Art of Giving or The Art of Spending Money yet, but just finished up The Psychology of Money. And that was a really, really good one as well. Um, I think that'll be another reread for myself as well. But
Should
The
be.
Art of Spending Money, definitely putting that on my list. And then, of course, The Go Giver is always a solid reread. So, Benjamin Holmgren, the man himself, thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for always providing so much value to our audience, but also, what you're doing for the industry. I'm excited to see you in Arizona here early February. So when this comes out, I'll see you in a few days, like basically the following week. Um, and yeah, hoping that we can be a part of many more ground crew workshops. It's been awesome. Phaser's been helping out there, but then you've helped out so much with what we do. Just some incredible referrals and people that you've sent our way that are hopefully lifelong clients we've worked with for a long time now. And they're just amazing people. It's just cool seeing our worlds come together.
Oh
Even
yeah.
even at MSTA as well is really cool just to do something else, but our worlds still coming together. So, dude, can't thank you enough for all the value you give, just for the leader you are, and of course for being on the Dirtbags podcast.
Pleasure's mine, Luke. Thanks for all you're doing to contribute, and thanks for the opportunity to share. I hope it's helpful to somebody.
Absolutely, man. I know it will. And for those listening, go give Benjamin a follow. And this is episode number 114. If you want to re-listen to the old episode, that was the one that came out April 26th, 2024. And of course, if you enjoy this podcast, please let us know, leave a review, and like and subscribe to the channel. And with that, we will see you all on episode number 115. Have a great one, guys.